Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna cover characters and abilities. So I've been working yesterday and a little bit today on kind of coming up with the characters. Right now I have some kind of silly names, but yeah, basically what we're looking at here is the character sheet of the various types. We have damage, tank, support. Probably gonna start with 12 just because it's so much work creating all these characters. Giving base health of like 120 to damage class, and then 170 for tanks, 140 for supports, and then they have a base armor, base shield, things like that can be increased and changed. So yeah, looking pretty good, I think. It also has kind of max damage stacks, so a lot of MOBAs will have stacks, so the more you hit someone, it increases your stacks, and that could be a damage modifier. So I want to keep track of that. So like maybe one character has like a max of 5 or 10 for 10 hits, and then they can do more damage, etc. So energy per round, that's going to be building up their ultimate abilities. So they'll get a little bit of energy every round, and then if they hit targets, they'll get additional energy. And then once they have whatever the energy level is required for their ultimate, they'll be able to use it. And then they'll have their 3 base abilities and then their ultimate. I might add another one. I'm going to have to play around the gameplay to see what it kind of looks like. And then they can have either 1 or 2 dash abilities. So this allows them to escape or move around in the beginning of the round. These 2 are mainly for Unreal. These are the material references for the class, because you can have meshes and then you put the materials on the mesh. So just so I don't forget which character, I looked at the characters and I kind of figured out like, oh, this would be this type of class. I think like this one is the Taurus. Yeah, it is. So like Broken Crystal would be a damage class. A Broken Cube would also be damage. Isohedron will be damage as well. So yeah, basically that's what I did. I went through all of them and I checked out which ones I thought they would be and kind of went from there. So how does this get turned into a character? I'm still literally in the middle of working on that now, but it's going to be read in as character data. So all of these CSV files or elements will be read into individual character datas. Those will be unmarshaled via CSV. So I have this little unmarshaller that's part of the character data object that reads the line, skips the header, uses reflection to figure out what number of field it's on, iterates through the field, say, hey, is this a string? Yes, it is. Set it to this. If it's an integer, you got to parse it. And then if it's a game character type, then check the type of it and then set the value using reflection. So pretty standard reflection unmarshalling stuff for the characters. But that's just the data. So the character that is going to be created is also going to have additional properties such as their current health, their current energy, all the other things that will go into like how many stacks of damage they have, things like that, any modifiers that are, I don't think I added modifiers on them. I'll probably need to add that. Okay, good to know. This is why we're doing this. So the character right now, this is actually not true. I'm not going to create the properties here. It is going to be almost built like, I don't want to use Java terminology, but like a factory where we have I'm calling it a creator, not a factory, because screw Java. The creator will read in all the data on the start of the server. That way I'll only have to do this once. Parse out all of the character data, parse out all the damage, support, debuff, movement abilities, load them in, and then when I go to create new characters, I'll reference that data, make a copy of it, and then create the character along with the additional properties that are required for that object or that character. So pretty much that's where I'm at now. I just have the loading of the character. I was literally in the middle of creating or loading the abilities. I don't have the abilities all set. In fact, I have none, but I have a really good idea of what I need to do. As a refresh, I'm going to use the abilities as this kind of composable structure where I can add in different types of damage, different types of debuff, support, movement. So you could have an ability that, for example, would do 10 damage to the character in front of them, and then maybe it would slow them, so you could have this debuff trap ability on it as well. And additionally, I also have this concept of ordering. So you could do, like, let's say it's a dash ability where you're going to jump away at the beginning of the round. So if someone's trying to attack that cell, they're going to miss. You would do the damage in the beginning, so there'd be one element in damage, and then you would have a movement ability that would kick off, that can jump to range, so they'd be able to jump to X number of cells away. And then you would have another ability on the end where you could say, I want to do a damage when I land. So this will be able to calculate that all by having this kind of ordering of them. So I'm feeling pretty good about the design. Damage, let's take a quick look at damage. This is kind of what I went over the other stream, where I was starting to break out different concepts and ideas and put them into their own little structures. And now I've just coded it into a struct. So we have valid for turns, max targets, max range, max radius, self amount. So maybe there's like a bomb that'll actually hurt you, things like that. Direct amounts, that'd be the direct hit. Any splash amount if you wanted to hit area people, splash amount, tick amount. So this will be damage over times. Ricochet amount, so this is if it's bouncing off walls, and I actually spelled it right this time after getting a spell checker. Stacks required, this is for some abilities that say you can only use it if you have three damage stacks. You've hit your target 3 times consecutively, or maybe just 3 times, you would have those required. Stack modifier, as the comment says, increase in damage percentage based on the number of stacks. So maybe there's some abilities where you'd want to say if they have 3 stacks, it should do 15% extra damage. And then directions. So direction will be important for any sort of beam or, those types of attacks that go out in a certain direction. So that would be in combination with max range. So you could say maybe there's going to be a beam from the sides of the character or just the front and the back of the character, etc. Debuffs. These are your basic traps and debuffs. So I'm kind of treating them the same because they usually are, where you just have like how long is it valid for, does it impair their movement, that could be separate than the actual trap. So for example, if you threw a trap down, maybe it should only stay there for 2 turns and then it should disappear. And then the impairment valid for turns, and then how much they're going to be impaired. So 50% would mean instead of being able to move a max distance of 10 cells, they would only be able to move 5. A radius of the trap, so there might be some sort of, I think one of the characters in Atlas Reactor, I forget the character name, she had this nice little cell like radius thing that she could put down. It was like 3 by 3, and you couldn't, if you tried to move out of it, it would damage you. So things like that would be included there. Walls, I kind of treat as separately because those can physically block a character from going past, so you could use it to block off certain areas, so it could be really good for kind of focusing or running away as well. Heal amount, so if you want to reduce their heal amount, shield amount. Reveals, so in excuse me, in Atlas Reactor, reveals are super important because half the game is prediction, and if people are constantly going into stealth spots, you want to predict or reveal them so they don't get the bonus of being stealth. So those are going to be important. And then again, as well with directions, here's movement. These are not primarily, but almost always in dash abilities, and then they're also going to be part of traps and other types of possibly damage, especially like knockback. So how far do you knock a character back? And then pulls, increased range. I feel like I should have a charge. Like if a character can charge after another character. Do I need to put that in as a movement? I don't know how I would codify that. Well, once I start creating that ability, I will think about what needs to be added to the structure. Finally, we have support, which is pretty similar to damage for the most part. Max targets, max range, blah, 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 blah. Damage modifier amounts, so if you're going to give someone strength, you will modify their abilities by X amount. Stacks again required, stack modifier. And then support type, I don't even remember what that is. Oh, yeah, so if it's going to give health, if it's going to give shield or energy, you can codify that using this support type enum, if you want to call it that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. If we look at the, I was going through some of the characters from Atlas Reactor just to see how my system, in fact, we can go like, oh, no, that doesn't work. If we look at this side by side and we look at kind of our stuff here, and I'll zoom this in. Maybe one more. So one thing I didn't account for were mods, and I realized, because I hadn't played the game in so long, how important they are, because that's what really lets you kind of like specialize your character. So I'm thinking of having some sort of modification table where the abilities, they might even be like a separate structure or not. Maybe I could just codify it in here. I could actually make it a separate ability. So it would be like ability 0 would be trick shot, and then ability 1 would be trick shot with pinball, which adds an additional bounce off your ricochet attack. So that might be the easiest. It might get hard to track them. No, I think that would work. So then I would have a cost. So I would somehow come up with a max number of points you get, and then you can choose. So I think that's the way that this worked, if I remember correctly. So you have like, I don't know, say 7 points, and then you can choose this costs 1 point, this costs 2, but you have 4 or 3 abilities that you have to choose from, so you need to basically mix and match, and you won't be able to use like 3 of everything. Yeah, I will definitely do that, because that will make the game way more interesting. Because yeah, half the fun of these games is customizing your characters. So yeah, I will do that. Cool. So yeah, every time I look at this, I'm like, huh, how would this fit in my system? And almost every time it works. Like, let's look at another one. Fire barrage of bullets, dealing 30 direct damage to enemies. That's fine. I just have a normal damage in my damage style stuff. Just have max targets would be 1, max range, it doesn't really say, but I imagine it's probably the distance. Yeah, direct damage would just be 30 damage. Oh, I don't have, oh, I do have. So in abilities, I also have, so again, abilities is going to combine all of those. So we'll have cooldown, energy required, energy gained. So I would gain 8 energy for that if I hit the character. And if it's an ultimate, sometimes ultimates may be sort of like a drain. So it'll drain your energy as it's using. So I have an energy used per turn, and then whatever combination of damages and whatever is all in there. So yeah, arc. Oh yeah, so I do, arcs would work with damage, max radius. I could do a direction. Maybe this shouldn't be north, south, east, west. This should be like top, bottom, left, right, because it's going to depend on the orientation of where the character is. So let's just do that. Top, bottom, left, right. Because it wouldn't make sense if you're facing like east or whatever and you used it, it wouldn't know just by having the direction. Or wait, would that even matter? I mean, I could do, wait, how, that wouldn't make any sense. Maybe I need like a direction arc. Arc. Yeah. I'm just trying to think visually how this would work with these directions. Whatever, I'll use arc for now. And then, so the arc would be, yeah, basically a 180 degrees attack. And then you would combine that with the radius. So it would be probably one cell. So it'd be one cell to your left. Maybe, yeah. I don't know if I want to include, so if we had a character, let's say force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, amazing. So if your character's here, they're going to do an arc attack. Would it include this one and this one, or would it just be this one, this one, this one? I think it would make sense to include all of them. So the radius would be 1 and it would be like a half circle, basically. Because then that would include anything that's touching it. So I think that's what I'll do. Right. Gain 3 additional energy per hit. See, I still feel like this could be all included in my system of abilities. Because again, I can double up stuff the way I designed it, where I can have this ability order. So I could have a damage, and then whatever. Or damage and then support. Support would be giving you that additional support type of whatever amount of direct or self amount. I guess I'd probably do self amount there. But it's only if the enemy is hit. So that's going to be... How would I get if conditional statements in here? I wonder if the damage... Oh, you know what it could do? It could return true if, like, success. So when I execute the ability, I'll pass it to the world or the session or whatever. The session will execute the damage. If it was a success, it would return true. And then... but then I would need... The support structure would need to know that it was successful. How's that going to work? Like, requires success. Requires success. Something like that, maybe? I feel like this is a little too rigid. It would be nice if I could, like, pass functions into this. Be like, execute this once this ability's done. That's interesting. Yeah, I could probably do that if I had like a map. Let's see, the map string func. I could, inside of the CSV file, maybe even have an array of them, where it could be like conditions. So inside the CSV, you would have support ID, blah, 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 and then you'd have like requires success, must hit 3 targets or all targets or something like that. And then you would look up those as keys in the map, and then it would execute the function. And only if it returned true would it would have to return true from the previous one. I don't know. I'm still figuring everything out. But it would be nice to have some sort of dynamic or conditional system that I could use here, because I do think these things are going to get more and more complex. All right, let's look at some more, see if they fit. So this is a trap. Toss a laser trap on the ground. Enemies that move through it take 35. The trap lasts up. Okay, so I have that in debuffs. We have the trap valid for turn, and that's pretty much it. Although I need to know in the world, I'm probably going to have to add another layer of my world of where traps and things are, because I will need to query those every time a character moves to see if they went through a trap. So, but that shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, cool. I still think it'll fit. I think that'll work. Can be targeted through walls. That's Interesting. That is a condition, which I don't believe. Yeah. I feel like there's so many conditions here. This would need to be on damage too. Can go through walls. Need to add this to damage. I'm wondering if this is just too rigid. Because I'm worried of just making it like every time I want to add a new ability, I have to modify everything all over again. That might be the case. And that's again where that kind of conditional system or that functional system might be better. But no, that would be super complicated because we'd have to run a bunch of functions during every round. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm on the edge. I can try both. We'll see what happens. Free action, that I can do by the abilities. We have a cooldown, and if I set the cooldown to 0, that means you can use it every single time. If it was a cooldown of 1, you'd have to wait around until you could use it again. Increase the size of trap wire, but reduce by 5. Yeah, so that would just modify the radius and damage. So that's not a problem. Dash phase, right? Dash to target, taking damage reduces this ability's cooldown. Taking damage reduces, oh. So that's interesting. I didn't think of having modifiers of the player getting hit. How would that work? Again, this is one of those conditions that pops up where it's not accounting for it just by raw data. Dang. Well, I did feel good about it. Now I'm kind of worried. Running gun. Dash to target. Dealing 40 direct damage to enemies along the way. So if we look at our trap, you know, I can also fake some of this stuff. Like I could say, in this case, it would do a beam damage, but the client wouldn't see that. They would render a particle effect of the dash doing the damage, but I would treat it as being, oh yeah, that makes sense. So I could treat it as being just a normal beam damage. So I'd make a damage type here with the, what is it? Max range and then the direction. So it'd be like top or forward. This shouldn't be top, this should be forward, backwards. That makes more sense. And then side. Actually, I wouldn't need left or right, I would just need side. Well, if I only wanted to go one direction, how would I do that? Oh, for now I'll keep left and right. I can modify it later. Gain 50 energy if you do not hit an enemy. That's weird. Oh, this must be an ultimate or something. No, cost 100 energy. Oh wow, okay. So this is like almost like an ultimate. Gain 10 energy per enemy hit. Armor piercing. Standing behind cover provides 50 damage reduction. Oh right, yeah. So if they're behind a fence in my version, this would actually drop it to 25%. Makes sense. Burst of speed, increase range by 3. That increase range. I do have that. Cool. All right, so that's one character. Let's look at a couple more here. Boop, boop, boo. Freelancers. Let's look at like a healer. These are the tanky ones. Actually, I want to look at, oh, this guy. This guy was awesome. Rampart. He had this dope shield he could put in front, block damage. Shields. Yeah. Again, it's like, you can fake a lot of this stuff with just the data, and then just the animation makes it look like something that is not what it's being calculated as. So bulwark, yeah. Place your shield during the prep phase, blocking attacks. Blast enemies during the blast phase, inflicting 28 damage, and slow. So again, this is where the allowing for multiple abilities or types, like damage support, whatever, and one ability is going to really help make this easier. Blast enemies during the blast phase. I don't remember if there's any attacks during the prep phase. Yeah, there was, because the rocket girl, what was her name? Where is she? Is it her? Suki? Yes. She had a dash, rocket jump. Jump to target position, dealing 25 direct damage near your takeoff. So this is just on takeoff. It would do damage during the dash phase. So that makes sense. Locks on enemy location. Oh, I also need to look at mods, because those are really different. Targets enemies through walls. Yeah, there's another wall thing. That is kind of important. So I think I just need to add, if it shows up multiple times, I'm just going to add it as being a requirement. Support, I think, should always be able to go through walls. Like, you should always be able to heal through walls, but damage and debuffs need to have a bool. Did I already add that? 2 damage? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Alright, let's look at, where was I? I was looking at a support. No, I was looking at tanks. This guy was new. I don't know if he was very well tested before they shut down. So I'm not sure I even want to look at his stuff, but... So I'm not going to 100% recreate every single thing from this. I'm definitely going to customize my own stuff, but it's good to know all the various abilities. Claw your enemies, doing 30 direct damage. Mods. Primal Fear generate the traditional 3. Adjacent enemies. Yep, so that would be a radius. Slow, okay, yep. Cover. Near enemies. Knockback. Knockback an enemy, yep. That's definitely not a problem. Increase range by 1 and knockback range. Alright. Affects all targeted enemies. I don't know what that means. Trample over your enemies, dealing 25 direct damage. Yeah, so this is another rush. I feel like that needs to be added somewhere under movement. Increase range. Maybe just a bool, like his rush. Let's see what else we got. Free action. Ooh, that's in prep phase. Gain 10 health per turn if over 60. So here's another one of those weird conditions where it's like, if this, then you get that, which is kind of hard to do. I almost feel like there needs to be a requirements field. I mean, it's kind of nasty to put it in CSV, but yeah. I'm gonna have to write like a mini language, aren't I? It's gonna be like requirements. It's gonna have like, inside of this, it'll be health greater than 60, or range less than 2, or, I mean, range will be covered by the other ones. It's these kind of weird ones that require additional checks, or last was success. It was true or something. Yep. I'm gonna have to do something that allows more customization. Damn. That's going to make it way more complicated. But that'll make the ability to create really cool abilities. So you win some, you lose some. What else we got? No longer triggers automatically. Triggers automatically. Automatically activates at full energy. Oh, so you can delay your action. Yeah, so this looks like an ultimate because it costs 100 energy. All right. All right, let's look at a support real quick. She had the digital sorceress. Ion Cloud, is that it? Paralyzer. No. Okay, so I remember this one, the powerful beams in 4 directions. Enemies take 24 damage while Aurora gains, and her allies gain. Dang. How would I do that? Abilities, support. I could splash them out wouldn't make sense. Maybe like a team-wide? Oof. Yeah, these things get complicated quick, huh? Does that... I don't remember if that one had to hit the targets. If it did, that would be easy. Because as long as they get hit by the max range and the directions... Oops, I don't need that anymore. Then it would just do the health. Yeah, and I think that's what it was, so that shouldn't be too complicated. Alright, that one's not a problem. What else we got? Oh, this was definitely the best. Quark was definitely the best healer in this game. Gamma Ray. Attaches a bond to an enemy that deals 24 direct damage and reveals them. Yeah, that sucked. Then deals 24 indirect damage each turn. The bond breaks if the enemy gets too far away. That's interesting. So a bond. That would be another one of those weird conditions where you'd need to expire or remove or do a check. Man, I'm gonna have to do it, aren't I? Ugh. It sucks. Man, I was hoping to just do this all 100% data and I didn't have to like parse out logic, but it's not looking like that's gonna work. It's annoying when you design something and it's like 90% of the cases are covered and 10% aren't, but you need the 10%, so you have to do all the extra work just for that stupid 10%. Alright, so does any of this make sense then? Would it make sense to just make like a little mini language? Man, I'm gonna have to put some serious thought into that. Could do like a scripting language. Could do Lua. I'm pretty sure there's a Lua thingy. Oh, what am I doing? Lua. Lua JIT. Does it have a REPL? Sorry, make this bigger. Holy Jesus. Okay, Windows Plus zooms in everything. Good to know. Control Plus zooms the browser. Golua. No, I want like a going Lua REPL. DRX REPL. Because then I could basically bind, but then it's like, why don't I just hard code everything? Stupid conditions. Yeah, it looks clear as mud. Yeah, okay, don't care. Okay, so I'm going to need to have some sort of ability to have some dynamic conditions checked. Not happy. Just when you think you got something done, kicks you in the butt. Right, so what is this going to look like? Maybe all these can stay the same. Then on abilities is where that would make sense. Yeah, okay, so the abilities would determine the conditions. So there'd be I guess it would be a slice conditions. And file conditions, package character, abilities, type conditions. Do I want? Oh, because now I have to write like a stupid parser. And I have to, man. All right, Golang Lua bind objects. No, not go bindings. I want to bind objects. Slices, strings, example. 4 eyes, 1 to 3 print message, and username. This looks good. This looks good. So if a person struct, initialize it, create a person, register the type L, which is okay. So you're registering it with the VM. I imagine this would be, and then you map functions. Go functions may be registered directly. Constants and other values. This is pretty cool. Because then I could write little Lua scripts for the conditions, and I could probably reuse them too. I just don't know how fast it is. And again, it's like maybe I should just hard code them, just build my own functions and just call them. Can you? All right, let's do a little test here. What would this look like? All right. Go mod init. Inity. I don't know. Lab.com repair Lua test. And then we need to get, what was this package? Whatever. Go get Golua. Golua. For some reason, WSL v2, it's like takes 10 seconds to initiate the first connection, and I have no idea why. Thank you. Oh god, it's not even semvered. Oh, that's concerning. Is this like legit? Forked. That's even less stars. Okay, now I'm gonna look up best Golang Lua library. Lua 5.1, Golua alternatives, curated. I love Project Awesome. Lua. Lua. Gleam, fast and scalable distributed map system written in pure Go and Lua JIT. No. Binder. Go to Lua binder based on Gopher. Port of the 5.2 VM to pure Go. Shopify. Oh. Nice. Go for Lua 5.1. Thank you, Shopify. Nice. Circle CI, didn't they get compromised? Like they were leaking all their keys? Whoa, 27 days of failures. That does not inspire confidence. Oh my word. 7 years ago, okay, 27. No releases. What the hell are these people doing? $2,300. What else we got? Not that. Is that it? Python. Oh. Goja. Oh, it's ECMAScript. Definitely don't want to do... Oh, okay, so that was a bindings for Lua C API, which I don't. I'd rather not include that stuff. Go for Lua's 5.1. This is 4,600. Nice. How's this look? Do string, do file. Not a big fan so far. Set global. Double new function. Okay, so you can still register stuff. This looks so nasty though. Creating a module by Go. Like calling Lua from Go. Not liking it. I'm not liking that API. That just looks like garbage. No offense to the developers, but alright, what about the Shopify one? Where did that go? Golua. Maybe we'll just use this one, I don't know. Why is there no releases? This is really concerning. Develop, I don't want to do that. Go build. New state, do file. Okay, so this looks like the other one. Benchmarks. This doesn't need to be like super duper fast. Dude, I'm gonna have to freaking write my own. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, that's annoying. This one, it's using the C API though. Ugh. 10 months ago, no release. these people not understand how software is built? Gotta release versions. But I really like their API. Man. Alright, well, screw that. Conditions. Man, I almost want like a Lispy thing. Anyways, so I need to have conditions, clearly, because there's so many just random things that I need to account for. Ah, oh, Nyx is super sniper. Expand. How is it already 10:15? I've just been yapping over here. Oof. Spotter, 6 spaces away. Another condition. Yep. Okay. I guess I know what I'm doing this week. I'm going to write a mini little language that will just parse out these things. What is that going to look like? Golang Lisp parser. Or S expressions. Sexy P. Golang Lisp interpreter. Don't really need a full Lisp. Lisp. Hand-rolled Lexer. Hand-rolled. Tail call optimization. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not making this bigger. So, yeah. This is gonna fit in CSV though. Do not. Also, shoot, I got to think about the client too, because for the ability to go off, they need to have a UI update, so they need to see that it's going to work. And if I was like range is 6, I'll need to send that, or the client will need to know that the ability they just chose can only work a certain oh, yeah, well, no, it'll still work over 6, but if you're looking at the Nyx ability, if you had farther than 6 spaces away, you'd want some sort of UI update to show like this character is going to do more damage. Like you'd probably have make the sprite, whatever thing is, a line turn red the further it goes, so that you'd get some sort of acknowledgement that you're going to do more damage. So that's going to require some work. So now that's why something like Lua would be better, because there's definitely a real, I'm pretty sure, Lua script. Lua machine encode plugins on the marketplace. $30. Jesus. I'll just link my own. Maybe I'll find a free one. Functions can be exposed to Lua. So this is where, yeah, choosing a scripting language that'll work in both the server end and the back end and front end will be beneficial. All right, well, I gotta play around with that too. I feel like there should be another one though. Lua. Nope, just one. I mean, you just gotta link it in. Shouldn't be too hard, hopefully. Cool. Right. Is there anything I can actually get done today, now that I realize I have to write a whole language thing? I don't think there is, because I'm pretty much dependent on having those before I can create anything. Otherwise, it's pointless. Although I guess I could create. That's not entirely true. I know I'm going to need to parse it, so I can work on that part. So creator. So we're going to do the same thing that I did for characters with loading them, character data rather. So I'm just going to copy this. And I think I need to do it for each one. So support. Move that up top. Move this up here. And we have supports on Marshall. This support CSV, support ID. We need to ignore that. Go away. Go away. Oh my god, close everything. Yes. Yes. Okay. Anyways, I didn't even want creator. I wanted something else. I wanted support and support CSV. And split right. So we check for the header first. If it's the header, we skip it. And then we need, do we have any custom types? We do, support type and directions. So for support type, boop. And we have to get, so support will be one of health, shield, energy. Health, shield, energy, and that will set not game. Oh, these types might have to move to game. Well, we'll see. Support health. Support shield. Support energy. And that should be it. I should be able to parse it in now. Yep, yep, yep. That's kind of weird. What the hell is it called S? Oh. Why is that? Oh. Struct. Yeah, shut up. I know. And rename this to S. Cool. So there's support done. Oh, fine. Oh. Okay. Movement. On to movement. Oh, directions. I didn't do direction. That is going to be a slice of that case. So we need to parse directions, and direction is in, I should make it its own so it's easier to find. New file, directions. Direction.go. Packageability. Save that. I think it was in damage. Just doesn't make any sense. Direction. Bam. Side left again. It's really weird, but whatever. Direction. Direction. Where was I? Support. Actually, direction. Let's move that over here. So we have switch record ith index case forward. And we are going to fset reflects value of, and we're going to do the rest. Backward, left, right. Cool. And maybe a quick test. Support test.go. Test support. I need to make a, how did I do it for the other one? Creator. Oh, I just loaded it. Can't really do that. Oh, another thing I'm not doing is I'm not, okay, I'll do that for, I'll do the test later with, in Creator, because Creator is loading everything. Because I'm using, and if you've never used it, it's amazing, Go Embed. So Go Embed is super nice because you can just embed like files directly into your binary, just like that. Like all of a sudden characters is now that CSV file, and I can just read from it with a strings new reader and pass that to CSV and read that. Really nice stuff. I'm glad they added that in 1.16 or whatever. All right, so support's done, I guess. Going to copy this to movement. Save that. Movement. M. And it's not support ID, it's just movement ID. And is there anything special in here? Nope. Oh, bools. I don't have bools. Oh, do I need directions? I feel like I should add directions. Directions. Case bool. Set bool. How do you just gotta parse it as a yeah. Right. If I'll be nice and say you could also be T. Let's if yep, I'm good at typing, as you can see. F, then set bool false. Else return for F the bool supplied. Why is it expected Boolean expression? Oh, yep. Alright, I don't need this anymore. Go away. Next up, oh, speaking of which, do I have bools on support? I don't. Okay. Getting close to time here. I'm just going to finish this up real quick and then call it, and then who knows, maybe I'll have developed an entire language just for this stupid game. We'll see. Debuff traps. D. This will be debuff ID, I think. Yes. And that has bools and integers, no strings, but whatever, I'll leave it there. Direction? Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, yep. Damage. What? Don't know why it was yelling at me. Damage ID. And that should be everything. Don't need that. Oh man, I copied that to all the other ones too, didn't I? Yep. Boop. Direction, movement, movement does not need support type. No. I do need to know the class type. Oh, well. No, I don't feel like it's... I was thinking of making this all one method and not just unmarshal to whatever type, but then I have to do interface stuff, and that don't want to do that. I will just repeat myself. That ability is going to need to do it too, but that's going to have to do some craziness of looking up. All this actually needs to get passed to ability, because I'm going to have the creator. It's going to load characters first, then it's going to load the ability types, pass that to the abilities. Abilities will read, and as it's reading, it's going to reference those abilities and fill out its slice data. So yeah, this will not need to be in there because it's going to get referenced. Cool. Oh man, I'm going to create like a database and a language or parser. Oh, so not happy about this. Also, this should be ability, not abilities. One more. All right, I'm over time here. But whatever. Support type don't need. I don't think this has direction. It's going to have bools. Yeah, it's going to yell at me because it's not referenced. Strings in it, bools. Cool. All right. So then I need to fill out all those details, which is going to be boring, and no one wants to watch that. So I will fill those out and create that parser. Awesome. All right. Until next time. That's not right. There it is.